Oh, come on. You know, the internet just sucks, people. Oh, wait, here we go.
Superheroes speak, a comic book dream, where legends are born and stories redeem. With Gage on a dark dawn, who will we cast? A podcast that's here to make the past last.
I'm having
This
weird
is gonna be
internet
fun.
connections.
Yeah,
How is that? I'm your host, Dave.
I'm John. Don.
And I am on mute, also named Don.
Oh, you're kicking it this
Yeah,
week.
you're
This week is like hot damn.
Oh my god. We should throw in the towel now. All right.
We should have thrown the towel in 11 years ago, but I mean, we're still
Oh,
here.
well,
so
yeah.
You can't stop a runaway train.
How is everyone doing? Technical difficulties and all. John, how are you this week?
Really? Really? You're going to ask me how I'm doing?
Yep.
Well, you know, my mom's in the hospital and let's depress our audience. So yeah, I'm just kicking around, dealing with family stuff. I there's literally, I can't say anything more. Nothing interesting to me is, nothing interesting to me has happened. Nothing has happened to me that is interesting for the audience.
Okay.
And anything I could tell you would depress them. So how about we not go there?
Okay. All right. Fine. We'll skip by you, John. Don, how are you?
Oh, I had a great week.
right.
Absolutely wonderful. Playing a great well, I'm the GM / DM of a great game of Star Wars Saga Edition. So that was this week, and that was fun because they had about a month hiatus. So yeah, that's always have a great time with my buddies there. And yeah, that's really about it. Other than that, we were kind of talking about something before we at least attempted to go on air. And we were talking about the Chewbacca defense, and I was claiming that it says that Wookiees are from Endor, and that isn't correct. It does state Wookiees are from Kashyyyk, but Chewbacca lives on Endor, and that's the incorrect thing that triggered me about it. So that's that. Other than that, how about you, Dave?
It doesn't make sense. And if it doesn't make sense, you can't come. Yeah. The Chewbacca defense, everybody, look it up. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Spider-Man on. There he is.
I was doing wonderful most of the week, I'll say that. Let's see. So first off, I have lost 20 pounds so far, back on my diet and exercise plan. I actually was able to put on an older pair of jeans that a size smaller than what I normally wear. So there was that was really good. And then my girlfriend and I went to the Renaissance Fair this past weekend. And so originally, and that's what spawned this whole episode, is originally we were going to go see Joker 2. And we talked about it. None of us really wanted to see it. And I was like, oh, well, I'm probably not going to have a chance to see it anyway because I'm going to be away all weekend. And then my girlfriend said she really can't go to the fair on Sunday. So we did spend the night in Lancaster, but then came home this morning. So I was like, oh, at one point I thought I'd be able to fit it in. And then I started reading reviews about the movie, articles, people I know whose opinions I trust started seeing this movie, and it had spawned some interesting things. So strap in, boys and girls, because this is going to be a non-review about what is possibly the worst movie of 2024. Because none of us have seen the movie, but we have all heard enough about this movie that I think we need to talk about it, and we need to warn our fans: stay home. Do not support this movie in any
And
way, shape, or form.
and that may sound unfair that we haven't seen it, and yet we're gonna crap on this movie pretty hard. But I think the cavalcade of reviews that we've all seen from, and we all, I think I can safely say we all watch different sections of like social media.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen anything from my places, Dave. Like everything we've seen from every corner of the internet has been, The Crow wasn't that bad.
Uh-huh. Yes, we
So-
will get into all that. In fact, this reminds me of a story I recently heard about a woman in my neighborhood went to the pharmacist and said, I need cyanide. I would like to buy some cyanide to kill my husband. And the pharmacist says, whoa, 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 whoa. I cannot sell you cyanide to kill your husband. And she goes, she pulls out a photograph and shows it to him. And it's a picture of his wife in bed with her husband. And the pharmacist goes, oh, I didn't realize you had a prescription. So there you go. There's your appropriate joke of the week.
I get
Nice.
that.
All right, let's talk about something a little better before we get into all the madness. Of course, we can't talk about Penguin because it is currently, or it's about to air on Max in 30 minutes.
Well,
So,
that's
son,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, that would be episode 4 that's airing tonight, correct?
Yes, yes. No,
Okay.
no. Did you
Is
see
it?
episode 3? No, I checked when I got home from the Renaissance Fair. No, episode 3 will be tonight at 9.
Oh,
Because
I thought I wasn't caught up on Penguin.
no, we're
Huh.
all caught up. Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, but we did get a new Agatha All Along on Wednesday this week. I watched it. I don't know if you guys watched it. Yeah, see, Kassan's here telling us episode 3 drops today. Yes, in
Okay.
30 minutes.
Okay. If we get $100 in super chats today, I'll do like I'll watch that shit on Discord or something. I'll watch it and do like an after show thing. So how about that?
Wait, and then Kassan said, I chose to watch you guys instead. Make
Hey.
me laugh.
I mean,
It's a little bit of pressure there, Kassan.
of all the things you could have done instead, you chose a thing that's just a sliver close to doing the actual bad thing. I like.
Well, you could have chose to go see the movie Joker 2, but we'll get into all that.
Yeah.
So episode 4 of Agatha All Along. Let's discuss this a little bit. I do think again I called it last week. I feel like that's what they're doing. Every episode is going to be something a little different. This week it concentrated on
Cleavage.
I can't think. You know what?
Have
You know
been
what?
watching
I
anime
wasn't
again?
going to bring that up, but yes. Catherine Hahn is like, my body's still good. I'm going to show it off a little bit.
Oh, she is killing it.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice. Like they're in a recording studio. I can't think of the character's name. The protection witch in the coven. It's her story basically, and it's about a family curse that generations long, and it's why her mother was trying to find the road so that she could lift the curse from the family, and we
That was
actually
Alice, by the way. Alice is the one.
Alice. Okay, yes.
Mhm.
Which I should remember because one of my granddaughter's names is Alice. And then the other part of the story was the episode starts off with them trying to get a new green witch to replace Mrs. Hart, who died in the previous episode, and they bury her.
Mrs. Hart. It wasn't Hart. Everybody calls her Mrs. Hart.
No one will call her Sharon. Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. That's the joke, and I'm sticking with it.
How disrespectful.
And we get Aubrey Plaza's character shows up to take the place. That's who gets called, They explain it away as, oh, whoever the most convenient is gets called to the road. But like, okay, I'm finding it a little weird because all the their fan theories is she's either Blackheart or Death, right? Like, she's one of those two characters. I would not think of either one of them as a green witch. So,
Yeah.
like, I thought that was an odd choice. I mean,
But
my
are we? So
Go ahead.
we can talk really deep about, like, spoil some of it, or
Yeah, let's spoil it. I'm in a spoiling mood, so
okay, okay. So there was that one point. Okay, spoilers, everybody. Okay, we're talking about episode 4. So plug your ears if you know whatever. Okay, so when Teen got hurt and they brought him outside of the, when they escaped the disco place and they put him down and they were trying to treat him. Remember, Catherine Hahn, Agatha, she says, don't talk about him being hurt. And then she looked right at Rio Aubrey Plaza and said, don't.
Yep.
Now,
right.
That's
which
not a-
screams that it's Death. Yes.
yeah,
That she's Death.
yeah.
Well, David,
Kinda-
you said
kinda-
there was a Funko Pop that already, right?
Yes. Yes.
So she is dead.
Yeah.
And Kassan's exactly right, especially from the Greek mythos, Demeter and Hades. So
Yeah. Death and Earth have a long history of overlapping.
Yeah.
Symbolization wise. So yeah.
or Persephone. Yeah. Kassan, it's been a while since I was in school. I used to love Greek mythology, though. I read Homer and the Iliad a couple times. But yeah, it was it Hades stole Persephone down to hell, so, or Hades. So anyway, it's but I mean, between that and what was it? There was one other hint. Oh, the story that Rio told. She said there's one.
Oh, right.
there was something-
That she was stealing their powers and stacking up bodies for her.
No,
So, oh.
no. That when they were doing the Jaws thing of showing each other scars, and she said, "Well, I had to do my job, but it was going to hurt this person, and that's my scar. So take Agatha's son, right?
Yeah.
Death had to take Agatha's son."
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. I mean, but there was also when she
Nice,
was
Ronkill.
when
All I got was this lousy Darkhold. Yeah.
when they're in the recording booth and she hits the mic so they can hear them out in the studio, where it was like, oh yeah, like good old times when you would steal their powers and you would stack up the bodies for me. Like, that's also, I was watching that and I'm like, oh, okay, Death. Like it's all adding up to that.
Well,
So.
we have Lady Death, right? And they didn't do the Lady Death and Thanos / Deadpool thing in the MCU. So bringing Death in it's one way of starting to bring in the larger beings. I mean, we've already brought in the Celestials. So, albeit nobody really counts that movie. So
Right.
this is a way to start to bring in some of the Eternals, or not. Well, no, not the Eternals, but you know what I mean.
Celestials. And hold on. People like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies where they first started talking about Celestials. So
yeah,
So.
okay, fair enough. And nowhere, was a celestial
head. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then of course there's all like they lift the curse by singing the song again, but a rock version of it, which was kind of a silly thing, but whatever, it worked. It was a fun little episode. And then afterwards,
Yeah, that's where it doesn't work for me at all.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, this is just goofy, dumb shit. And it could be just me because I'm not a musical guy whatsoever. But it takes me out of it a little bit, I guess. But I get other people could be like, oh, this is fun, so I'm just not there for that type of fun.
Okay,
Kassan.
Kassan,
No.
so Kassan, let's talk. No, this is interesting. So I get where you're coming from. I really do.
Okay, cool. Hold on. For
Um,
people listening, let's say what he said if we're going to talk about it. Are we
okay, yeah.
going to gaslight ourselves into believing Agatha is an interesting show? I can feel the writers sweating as they force the plot around these characters.
What did
Character
you
is
gain
king.
that ability by watching the Star Wars?
We've we have said this so much on this show. Character is king. Character is what drives the story, not the
True.
plot. So, yeah, I think that's kind of a silly argument. Like, they're forcing the plot. No, they built a plot around the story they wanted to tell with these characters. Like,
Well, also, like, and again, I get where Kassan is coming from. This is almost cartoony, but like from my point of view, we're talking about magic. Magic throws the rules out and sets them on fire. So anything can happen on a magic road that doesn't exist in this reality, and and when you tie that to the psyches of the people that are walking the road, you can watch symbolism become reality, right?
yeah,
So, but the bigger point for me is it's something new. It may be
thank
a
you.
follow-up, but it is something new. It's imaginative. They're taking risks. And
Yep.
and I find it entertaining, There's nothing to
Yes.
take me out of it. Like it's not bad writing. It may be weird writing, but I don't feel it's bad, and not from my point of view. But again, I get that this is not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, no, that's true, and that's what we said last week. It's some like Joker. I'm not Joker. Sorry, Penguin is really well written, well acted, well set. All of that. It's
Yeah.
just not everyone's cup of tea, right? Same thing with
And-
this. Like,
It's not my cup of tea, and
Yeah.
and neither is this, because honestly, no, I'm not here to gaslight and say, oh, this is an interesting show. I'll be very honest with you. I find a lot of this not that interesting. I think the execution is good here, though, because it is around Halloween. They're witches.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
great. And it's a popular thing. You should drive around my town to see all the Halloween shit. I don't really like Halloween that much and all the macabre, but whatever. Our society is like super into it these days. So, okay, there you go. Catherine Hahn is great in every scene, right? So she's the only character that I see develop. I mean, obviously there's death and we're learning about, but that's like my focal point. I don't really care about the other supporting cast other than, and this is the main hook for me at this point,
yeah,
is the Wiccan character, which in this episode, she was told it's not your kid. So
right.
we now know that that's not, even though Agatha maybe thought at some point that was her son that she had sacrificed. She's now been told, nope, that ain't it.
And
which
Death
leads
would
us
know.
Back, right. And Death would know, which leads us back to the road of, okay, this is Wiccan, which again, I'm interested in.
I found
oh,
that was an interesting choice to end the show, that episode, with her confirming this wasn't Scratch, which tells me they're going to reveal who he is in either the next episode or the episode after that, because there's only 4 more episodes anyway. So yeah, like they're definitely going to reveal that quickly, and that's when the show, I think, is going to get really interesting, because it's going to be Billy versus Agatha on the Witch's Road. So
and this all does go to, I mean, like that would be the reason why Agatha and Rio, or Death, are at odds. It's because they may have been in love at some point, but when your partner kills your only son, takes your. See, that's the thing. Agatha should be wise enough and old enough and more experienced enough to understand that Death doesn't have a choice in the matter. Death didn't cause the person to die. They have to bury the soul, And when it's a person's time, it's a person's time.
Yes.
But so it'll be interesting to. I hope they answer it at the end of this. What exactly happened? You know, because or maybe it's just hard feelings. I mean, that's a hard thing to get on.
I think no, I think I feel like that's what they're building to. They're going to address what happened to her son, how it ties in with death, and how Billy ties in with all of this as well. Like that's what this whole show is building to. The rest are, I agree, the rest are supporting cast, and I can understand why you're not as interested in their stories. Because there's a chance we won't see these characters ever again after this show. We'll see Agatha, we'll see Billy, and we'll see probably Death again. Maybe. Well,
but they didn't. They didn't bring in like red shirts to this, right? Like, was it Sashir Zameda, Joe Locke, Ali Hahn, Patty Lapone, there, and Catherine Hahn, was it no Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza, Deborah Jo Rupp? All these people are doing real. I mean, they're all, you know, people from stage and from singing and all this other stuff. Like they on stage, these people, they're doing a really good job with these characters. And Kassan says, you know, what character can you describe what each character's motivation is beyond obtaining power? Well, we're learning slowly, you know, through
Alice's.
This is the benefit of having a episodic format, right? We get to learn everything along and take time with each character.
Here's the thing. Alice's motivation was to find out what happened to her mother and then to lift the family curse. She's now done that. So that's also what makes it interesting, right? So like her character might not be as motivated to help Agatha at this point because she accomplished what she wanted to accomplish.
And Sashir just cast a healing spell. Like she was supposed to have her power locked, and she just cast a spell to create a healing.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Did you remember? She like they washed they pulled a was it Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail? They washed his stomach wound away, and then was it one of them looked up at Jennifer and said, "Do you see what you did?"
Right.
You know, it's like you just showed us that you have your power.
So, is this the Wizard of Oz?
Oh, I hope not. That does not have a good ending.
They all want something, and by the time they get to the end of the road, they realize they had it all along.
Maybe. I mean, it could be that Jennifer's character, or Sashir's character, Jennifer. It could be that she's psychologically blocked, not metaphysically blocked, right?
Right.
Because she said when they were showing the scar, she's like, I still don't know how he bound me. We don't know who he is yet, Mephisto. You know, but we do, but we do know that she says she's bound. She thinks she's bound, but now we're not so sure because she just cast a healing. She created a healing potion, so. I see it. And on the interplay of these characters, I find it interesting, Kassan. So yeah, again, not everybody's cup of tea. But me coming from anime, I'm used to episodic things, shows waiting for, backstory to be explained or flashbacks, and generally building out each character as you go along, you know, I don't, you know, the writing is pretty good on this. It's not the best, but it's good enough that it's better than good enough, I think. And I like it. Okay, Thronkel, look, you know, man.
Yeah, so this one does lean into the whole gayest show, you know, I guess we'll
a little bit,
put that elephant out there, which I don't care. So whatever. You know, I understand what Kassan though is saying. I know he asked in chat. Dave brought it up, and I'll respond to it. You know, would I care about the character of Teen if he wasn't potentially Wiccan? I mean, I kind of have to because he's got that sigil. He can't. You know, they're specifically trying to hide his identity. So even if the whole Wiccan thing wasn't in play, you still kind of have to care about that character.
Yeah.
But I mean, but again, I'm kind of with him in the sense I don't care about this character development of the other coven. I don't. Because I know Agatha, is and potentially Wiccan. They're in death, which is a very strange choice, seeing as they did Thanos. Now Thanos is gone. Now they have Death, who in the comics he's obsessed with in play. So I'm not quite sure it's a strange choice. But nonetheless, I only care about those core characters, I guess.
Yeah.
Just knowing the
I,
character of Agatha and what she may do at the end, like the other witches are still kind of fodder to me.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Agatha is like a rogue, right? You never they're always the most interesting characters because you never know what they're going to do. They're true neutral. They could go one way or the other, right?
I,
So
yeah.
who knows if they're gonna, they'll get to the end and like everybody's happy, everybody got something for the road, and then she takes all their souls.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know. I still stand by my theory. My theory. We're going to at the end of the show, it's going to become she's going to have to make a choice between getting her power back by sucking all of their power, or helping them out in some way. And she's going to end up they're going to Loki her. She's going to end up making the right choice to save everyone. And
I don't know, man. That kind of goes against their whole character. I think most people are gonna think that, and then no, it's like, nope, Agatha's that bitch. Like that's just me, and I would respect it more. That's just me.
Let,
So,
let me just respond to something that Kassan said. And Kassan,
okay, wait. I want to respond to something Kassan just said. Example of bad
Okay.
writing is the love subplot. One minute Aubrey wants to kill Agatha, but only empty threats, and the next she wants to bend her over. Obviously, you've never been in a real relationship, Kassan, because that happens all the time.
I
yes,
speaking as
sir.
somebody who's been divorced twice, that is life.
Yeah.
That is how like, I mean, that's not a great relationship, but that is representative of a lot of relationships,
Yep.
unfortunately. And maybe fortunately, who knows? But
There's a
love really can stab you in the heart, because it's just, it is a cruel bitch, let me tell you.
the like not to be too crass, but I don't know if anyone has ever heard this expression before, but I have definitely heard it and lived it. There's such a relationship that's called a duck and fuck, and you're either fighting or having sex, and that's the relationship. And it does happen, and that is real life, like, because it's such a passionate relationship, but you don't really have a lot in common, but you're attracted to each other. So you're either having sex or you're fighting. That's it.
Mm.
Like, yeah, like
Yeah, and I
that's real
saw
life,
that.
Hassan.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that in the 300 sequel. You guys see that where the two opposing generals end up fucking? I mean, one's a girl, one's a guy. You guys ever
Oh,
seen the
I
sequel,
never saw the
the
sequel to it.
300?
No,
Okay,
no.
it's not as good, obviously, but still
Yeah.
based on.
Those relationships are usually the ones that end up when you read about it in the police blotter with all the neighbors saying but they were such a nice
Yeah.
couple.
No. No. No
Yeah,
one
and
thought
Thrawn Kill's
we
correct.
were nice.
Unfortunately, most lesbian relationships don't get very deep in most media. Yeah, because usually the
That's what she
writers in
said.
Hollywood don't treat them as real relationships. They treat
Well,
them
yeah,
as
that's true
fodder
too.
for men who want to see two women kiss, and that's again, that's not real life. Real life is they have just as many problems as relationships between men and women. Like relationships doesn't matter who the two people are. You're going to have all the same types of troubles. And
Yeah.
hopefully find love at some point.
And as for wanting to see two women kiss, guilty. All right, we're well. I think we're all in agreement. We're still going to keep watching the show. We want to know when they're going to reveal who Teen really is, We want to know what's going to happen with Aubrey Plaza's character, and will they all live happily ever after? We don't know. Let's keep
Yeah.
watching.
And Kassan, I just want to say we're glad to hear your side of things, because again, everything is not for everybody. So
Yep.
I like it, they like it. We had a split during Acolyte, and yeah, the whole point. The whole point of this is to talk about the differences, and see what the differences
Yes.
are and learn from each other about it. So
Speaking of the dark, dark side of Star Wars, here's our good friend Don to tell you more, where you can find
nice.
more superhero speak.
Good
Nice.
evening, plebeians. Darth Don here to tell you that superhero speak is not just a YouTube show. It is also a website. You will go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find all the social media links to the show, comic reviews by Chris, and most importantly, our merch. You will buy our merch. And while you are on the HoloNet, you must check out the rest of the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network, an influential conglomerate of podcast shows like the Pop Prism Power Podcast, Colt 45, That's So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, Twisted Mind of 8-Bit Ray and the Gorilla Brain podcast, and of course, the powerful superhero speak. Plug in hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. And if you do not comply with my request here tonight, I will torture you by making you watch The Acolyte, the one and only season, over and over again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a double feature to catch. They're showing Blade 2 and The Matrix Reloaded at the drive-in. Now, back to the show.
I love that.
I gotta make another one. of some
That was
sort.
awesome.
All right.
Thank you.
Is there? I'm guessing there's been no Omega level nerds this week.
No.
Don't be an NPC. Smash that like button. All right. Well, you know what? If you've gotten this far in the podcast, I do have another piece of advice for you. You know what? You should be clicking that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go here live Sunday nights at 8:30. Most weeks, sometimes Monday night. Also, if you like what we're doing here and you like this episode, make sure you smash that like button, because it really does help with the algorithm, gets the show out there more, and all of that fun jazz. And if you really feel like it, and you would like to check out our merch store. I can't tell, things are running really slow. I can't. Oh, there it goes. Check out our merch store. Link in the description below. Buy a Superhero Speak T-shirt and support the show in a very real way. It will. And you know what? New York Comic Con's coming up. If you're going to New York Comic Con, buy a Superhero Speak T-shirt, and we'll know you're a fan when we see you walking around. You can't beat that. And we'll say hello to you. Maybe take a picture with you. Put it on our social media. And it'll be fun and wonderful. And all of that. And maybe we'll buy you a soda. I don't know. trying to figure all that out. But that's all I got to say. On that note, we'll take a real quick commercial break and come back with some news.
This is so wizarding.
Broadcasting very fast and very dangerous from the planet Malistan. You are listening to So Wizard,
You're thinking, people gonna die?
the only podcast to make the Kessel run in under 12 parsecs.
No one to stop us this time.
I am your host, Joey DiCarlo, and with me, my co-hosts, the queen of all nerds, Aubrey Litchfield, and the expert, Mr. Marquis, Marcellus Reagan. You are listening to So Wizard Podcast, where three friends review movies, TV, and sometimes more, podcasting weekly on the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. Marcellus Reagan's, please tell the listeners where they can find more So Wizard Podcasts.
Everybody, you can head on over to SoWizardPodcast.com, and there you're going to find a brand new episode every week. Find So Wizard on all podcasting streaming platforms, such as iTunes, Spotify, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever you can find a podcast. Check out our YouTube page, where new content is being uploaded regularly. We also have a Patreon page. For as little as $1 a month, you can receive exclusive bonus content while you're supporting the show.
No, I didn't. First of all, a podcast takes a lot of work, okay? You have to organize the guests, you have to do a Google Calendar, and then you build a following. It takes a long time, and I've been working on it for a while.
One day I'll get it right. All right. So I have a question for you guys. I didn't ask it earlier, but it ties into the story that we're about to talk about. Are either of you currently playing any trading card games, or have you played trading card games in the past? John, I'll ask you first because you are our resident game nerd when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I worked for Funcoland in Houston in 1994 when they just so happened to be play testing the beta versions of Magic the Gathering. And me, unbeknownst, like here I am working 120 hours a week. There was a reason why I left that job. 120 hours a week, managing 3 stores and training other managers and helping them build stores. And I've got nothing to do with all this money I've got and no time to go out and spend it. So me and the guy that I had gone down there with, we would buy these cards and play the game. We tried a few, but we've settled on Magic the Gathering because it seemed pretty fun. And so yeah, I've played in some small tournaments. I have thousands of cards, but I haven't bought any new ones in the last 15 years. So all of my decks are the kind that make people say, why aren't those in cases, for crying out loud? So, but I love the game. I think it's fun. I still have my cards, but I haven't had anybody play with in a long time. No time to really find, places to play and go regularly.
How about you, Donnie boy? Any TCGs in your past or present?
All the above. I currently play Magic Commander format quite often. I have a friend that comes over and play. My next door neighbor plays. I go over to my cousin's house. Sometimes there's 10 people there, and we've got 2 or 3 different pods of games going. So, yeah. And I played since the beginning. Not quite like John there. He was working at Funcoland, so yeah, I'm sure he had to hook up. But I've been playing since Sierra Angel was a powerful card.
Oh yeah, I have a few of those.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I'm all about it.
Yeah, I played Magic. I want to say '99 into like 2002. And then, I was married and I had a second child, and yeah, the time to getting together with my friends to play at TCG kind of went to the wayside. But then I had two kids who, first, my daughter got really into Pokemon, but for a while realized that she just wanted to collect the cards. She didn't want to actually play the game. I actually said, "There's a game with this. We should sit down and learn it." And she was like, I want to say 8 or 9 at the time, and nope, she had no interest in like actually learning how to play the game and playing it. But then my son, as he got older, really got into Yu-Gi-Oh. He's played in quite a few tournaments. Um, and then he actually got into Pokemon and started playing Pokemon tournaments. I've played
Nice.
Yu-Gi-Oh with him a lot. But now we've actually found a new game called Alestrals. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
It started as a Kickstarter. They have a website now. They have several pre-built decks. It's very reminiscent of Magic, except it's way more structured. You have 80, it's an 80 card deck. 20 of the cards are what they call spirits, which are kind of like lands in Magic, right? They're what you draw your power from, but they're also your life force. Once you run out of them and you're attacked, you lose. So that's what makes the game interesting. And then the other 60 cards are creatures and spells that you cast using your Alestrals. So it's very different, and it's not like where you like they're all mixed together. Your spirits are separate and you draw them as you need them. Whereas in Magic, it's all mixed together, and as you hope you get lands in your hand and creatures that you can cast right away. This is like, no, you just draw your spells and your creatures, and then you just pull out the but it also then requires more strategy to be like, well, wait, if I cast this, like I'm wasting spirits. It's complicated. Played a couple of times so far. It's interesting. I'm still trying to get used to it, the mechanics. I won the first one, he won the second one, so yeah, I'm but like there's nowhere where there's tournaments or anything yet because it is like the game just came out. It's a brand new thing. So
Yeah.
Right, and we've had a game designer on before, like we've
Zach,
had. What's that?
but Zach just had his game Havoc come out in stores.
Yeah.
So yeah,
which was fun, and he emailed me, and I should get back to him. But yeah, that was a fun game. When we go to the Comic Cons, there's usually a bunch of game designers there.
yep,
And we're not even talking. That's not even talking the conventions that are just for game designers.
yes,
You know?
yes. So yeah, so I haven't played Magic in a long time. Obviously, John, you haven't played Magic in a long time. You are all about the Commander format there, my friend, in Magic. You brought this story to my attention, and then it's funny because I mentioned something to my son about it, and he went off for about 20 minutes about it.
I've
Apparently,
seen this story too. I mean,
this is a
I
big
keep up with it.
brouhaha in the Magic the Gathering community. Why don't Don? You're much closer to this than I am. Why don't you give your take on it for everyone?
Okay, sure. So yeah, basically what just happened, a big shakeup. The first, and it comes in two parts, is there were 4 cards that were banned in the Commander format. 2 of these cards were worth quite a lot of money, but once they got banned, their value dropped about 50%.
Okay.
And when I say quite a lot of money, I mean like $100, $200. Now Wizards of the Coast, although they own Magic, they did not come up with the Commander format. Okay,
Right,
that is
right.
a player-made format. Now, do they lean into it? Yes, they make their own. You can now go buy pre-made Commander decks that Wizards of the Coast releases. But as far as the rules, that was all done by volunteer committee that decided
Right.
the rules and the bans. So, although it was ill-advised by Wizards, that council banned these 4 cards. Again, 2 of them are the ones they quote unquote shouldn't have banned. They got death threats, doxing, hey, I'm going to do this at the next event to you. So long story short, they quit. There is no more Commanders Rule Council. Wizards of the Coast now controls the Commander format.
Jesus.
Which could be good or bad. But it was kind of a special thing that since 2011, Magic the Gathering's most popular format was player controlled and created.
Yeah.
Again, Wizards of the Coast just at some point decided, okay, this is a thing. We want to make money. We'll lean into it a little bit. So those days are now over. Wizards of the Coast now controls it, which, don't get me wrong, may make some happy because Wizards of the Coast did not want Mana Vault or this other Mana Rock banned. So now they may get unbanned. But yeah, it's just, and it's crazy because like people are throwing death threats at a volunteer committee.
Yes.
That, for the most part has done a great job. So I understand losing 50% of value on something, but is it worth saying you're going to harm somebody over? It's fucking ridiculous.
May I also interject or add to this story that you're telling, Don? Wizards of the Coast, owned by Hasbro, that of late had another problem with the community where they were putting out too many versions of the decks per year, not giving people even a chance to collect and put a good deck together before they go on to the next version of the game and ban cards that you haven't even had a chance to play with yet. Basically the community looked at it as, you're just trying to milk us for money now. This isn't fun. They also put out an anniversary card that was like $1,000 or something stupid like that.
They do all sorts of dumb shit,
not
like that.
playable and like nothing like you'd expect something really nice, and the package was just stupid from what I understand. So,
well, that's like the One Ring card, right? They made one of them, and it's like worth millions of dollars now, and it's like ridiculous.
Yeah, but like Wizards of the Coast is also screwing over the D&D community too at this point.
I mean, they're definitely screwing things up because they could be making a lot of money with D&D. They could make a lot of money if they had a digital play, because let's face it, not many people can gather around a table. There's a lot of D&D and shit going down on Discord or whatever, these other platforms. So, they're trying to make D&D now like microtransaction, which I don't even mind. Like if you put it, like they can make money in their modules. That's the problem with how they're dealing with D&D now. We shouldn't be on 5th edition with a 6th edition coming out. We should be on 4th or whatever, but just keep giving us modules and shit, or give us an interface that we can use on the computer or whatnot and play together through the internet. And then, come out with modules and items and whatnot for things like that. You could continually do that. Like I DM, but I don't want to DM. I don't want to make up shit. Give me shit to play, and I'm there.
And sorry, Dave, one more thing. Also, don't make us pay twice for the same modules. Like you have to now, if you want to play online, you use D&D. Was it 1 or whatever, or their online D&D Beyond? So you go into D&D Beyond. I have that whole bookshelf back there is full of D&D books. I can't use them on D&D Beyond. You have to pay for them again in digital format. Why would I want to spend another $1,000 or more to play the game I love on D&D Beyond? Like, that's stupid.
I also feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure like it's whatever the current rules are on D&D Beyond. Like there should be ability to like say, you know what, we want to play, but we want to play 2nd edition
or 3.5 edition. Or 3.5 was one of the most popular versions of all.
Right,
of them.
but I always played 2nd when I was younger. So
I still like advanced. I like calculating THACO in my brain. So,
but anyway, before we get too nerdy on it, but that's like, I think that was one of the things that they really missed out on was give the people, like, yeah, just charge a yearly thing to access, because most people I know that play role-playing games today play them over the internet. No one gets together and plays. So if I could go to a website that had an interface not unsimilar to what we're using right now to stream, that had, a chat that where you could secretly chat to people, had a, like, your character sheet up on one side and the DM had a different screen, like, you could easily build something like that.
And there were a whole bunch of places that did, like a place called Hero Lab that I used their
Yes, I remember
application,
Hero Lab.
and they got sued. So they can't, their online Hero Lab's online version can't have any actual D&D content on it. Whereas you could use with the application, you could download it because somebody could put it together, but it wasn't done by Hero Lab. It's the same thing as with like video game emulators. But they just, I don't know. The whole thing is just sad because every time a corporation gets involved with this stuff, when it was just Wizards of the Coast, it was fun. When Wizards of the Coast bought D&D, I was kind of okay with that. Then Hasbro got involved, and now it's just one bollocks after another.
Yeah, yeah, but again, back to the main story, like it's a trading card game, and it's funny because I feel like if you're that worried about the value of cards, you're maybe playing for the wrong reasons, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm with you, but I'm telling you, I know a lot of people that sit there and go, "Oh, this deck is worth this," and all. I mean, I literally know people that have Magic cards put away, and like, yeah, that's for my kids' college fund. Like, I'm like, you should just go ahead and put them in a mutual fund or something.
all right.
I don't know if
As a nerd who's been collecting comics for over 40 years, the speculator market is the worst market to sit there and say, like,
Yes.
"Oh, I'm putting this away for my kids' college fund." It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. Do you know how many people bought comics in the 90s going, "Oh, I'm going to save this for my kids' college fund"? And you know how many of those comics are now in the dollar bin at every comic book store? Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Foil
people.
cover be damned.
Yeah.
Exactly. The only reason my collection of Magic the Gathering is worth so much, like it's probably worth about $50,000, is because I was there when they were testing the beta version.
Right. And
so
most of
I
those
magic cards that you couldn't get anymore before the
Exactly.
speculators came into it.
Right. But that's the whole thing. The only reason Action Comics #1 is worth the money that it's worth is because World War II happened, and a lot of them were recycled for the war effort. Plus, they were comics, and kids and people didn't collect stuff like that back in the 40s. But so there's only a handful that are in circulation that are in good condition. It's extremely rare.
And Magic's not like pay to play. Like, you can't say, I mean, a lot of you might think, oh, all the expensive cards are the most powerful ones. Honestly, no, you can find cheap versions of cards that do all the same shit and more, because it does, as Magic continues to age, it power creeps. So they do that all the time. We're like, oh, I like this card. Well, guess what? This card does that plus this and costs one less. Like, and it's a common. So, like, it's not pay to win sort of thing with Magic.
It's it's deck building. Like, you can have a bunch of crap. Like, I used to play with slivers a lot. And I had a multicolor sliver deck because I had Savannah and Plains and all these dual, or what is it, Savannah and Swamp and whatever, all these dual land cards. So I could bring out the entire sliver collection, and everything was cheap because they didn't expect somebody to have all these ancient cards that you could still play that could bring out two different types of lands. So, it's like, if you're a good deck builder, you can do much better than somebody who goes and spends thousands of dollars on what are considered the best cards.
Yes. So, all right. Long story short, don't threaten people just because they're, built a fan base thing and they said, these cards, we feel like they should be banned. Because you know what? The one card that my son was telling me about sounded way too powerful, and I understand why they banned it. So it was just like, yeah, get over it.
I mean, he was probably talking about Mana Crypt, and yeah, I hate to be talking gibberish for those that don't know, but Mana Crypt, it costs nothing. It's an artifact that costs nothing. Every round, it'll give you 2 colorless mana.
Yep.
And the only cost is that you flip a coin, and so you got a 50-50 chance of it doing 3 damage to you. Okay. So, but in Commander, you've got 40 fucking health. So that 2 mana every round for you to use, and you might lose hit points from it. Yeah, believe me, I played against. I played against that shit. It's annoying.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's kind of like Soul Ring. Soul Ring was an original card where it was one colorist, and you could add 2.
Soul Ring is in every commander deck in existence.
Right. I have a couple of them because I had them when they first came out, first edition. But yeah, it's cards like that.
Speaking of old things wanting to come back.
Hey.
Andrew Garfield,
like a teenager.
Andrew Garfield has come out and said he would love to play Spider-Man again in a Spider-Man 4 movie, Amazing Spider-Man 3. I'm sorry, Amazing Spider-Man 3 movie. And there are rumors that have been floating around for a while that they're bringing back one of them for a movie, either Toby or Andrew. I think Andrew makes more sense in my opinion because he's younger and he does deserve his redemption arc at this point.
And Toby got his redemption arc in Spider-Man No Way Home, right?
Yeah. I mean, and obviously Andrew saves MJ, so there is that aspect of it too, where but long story short, I'm torn on this, but I kind of want it because I would like them to do another Spider-Man movie that is totally detached from the MCU, and because we're in the multiverse now, so this is their opportunity to do it.
Which means nothing is truly separated from the MCU, technically.
Right. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you want another Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield, or do you think it would be too much?
I'd go for I did not like the first 2. Like it just seemed like the first 2 movies were weird back then, but I don't know if I've got like nostalgia goggles on now, but I'd have him come back for another one. He was just too endearing in No Way Home,
Yeah. Yeah.
Don, you're looking a little bit nonplussed.
Yeah, well, wow, I don't even know what that means, but okay.
John likes 10-cent words.
I'm not a smart man.
Sesquipedalian, so
the Andrew, I have no problem with the Andrew Garfield playing Spider-Man, other than the fact that, okay, if they started today, this movie's not going to be out for 5 years, and Spider-Man equals young to me. That's just the way it is. And I did not like the writing of the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. I didn't like the whole his parents. He had the coins that you take to the subway track or the subway train that have some laboratory in it. I don't know. I didn't like any. I mean, the lizard was cool in the first Spider-Man, though. That was actually pretty cool. I liked that a lot. I thought the CGI on him and everything was pretty fucking cool. But I don't know. And I did like Emma Watson as Gwen Stacy 10 times better than what's Mary Jane? What's her name? The young vampire chick, Kirsten Dunst. Yeah, with the real life fangs. I hated her Mary Jane. So but with all that said, no, I'm not pining for Spider-Man anything, to be completely honest with you, if it doesn't further develop the MCU. So
I'd go and see it. It won't be a Borderlands, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there isn't much out there as bad as Borderlands from what I hear.
Well,
Oh yeah, listen, so we talk about Omega Level Nerds. If you do want to go back to that channel, I do believe our show or our second to last show is me and John talking about. I didn't see the Borderlands movie, but John did, and John's a huge Borderlands video game fan, so he had a lot to say about
not
how
me,
they
John,
fucked up
different John, but yes.
Right, I'm sorry, different John. Yes. So check that out if you want to.
Okay, wait, Kassan's got a good one here. Amazing Dad Spider-Man, and the plot. He's deciding which 401k plan structure will see the fastest ROI. Oh my God! All right, that's a good one, Kassan. We'll give you that.
Nice.
Speaking of Borderlands and let's see, what was another bad movie this year? We had The Crow, which we all went and saw. Which was horrible. Are there any other bad movies out there, guys? All right, I'm going to warn our audience right now.
Bad movies.
I mean, we're gonna commit a mortal sin here. All
right, so hold on.
All
right, let's state this up front, boys and girls. This is a warning. None of us has saw this movie, but we have all seen enough information about this movie that we don't want to see it. And this is what I'm referring to this as a non-review, but here's the thing. We're going to spoil it because I read what the ending of the movie is, and it's why I'm so pissed off. If you don't want to be spoiled for Joker 2, then bail now. If you saw the movie and you liked it, you're not going to like anything that we're about to say, and you're going to sit there and go, well, you haven't seen it. Fuck you. And fuck Todd Phillips. So and that is where I'm at right now.
Right. And let's just and Thrawn Kill is actually throwing a log on the fire. Hellboy, right? The new Hellboy movie just went straight to digital. So here's the thing. There have been so many bad movies lately, and Hollywood is in such a slump artistically, imaginatively. Like all these movies, they're only coming out to make a profit, meaning they're going for those 4 quadrants. They're not putting out a movie to entertain or to really, to put out something cool. So it's getting to the point where why are we spending our time trying to go and see these movies and wasting our time and torturing ourselves when, when we could be doing something more important, like, I don't know, filing our nails, something more enjoyable, like filing our nails, right? The thing is that so many people have already seen this, and as on our notes say, they're all walking out of the show, just like they were with The Crow.
Right.
We can report that this is happening. I understand Don's side that, we may be, it feels like we're committing a sin. We're reviewing a movie that we haven't seen, but we're not really reviewing the movie. We're reviewing the reaction to the movie.
We're warning our audience.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't see the piece of shit come out of the asshole, but we clearly see the shit on the ground, and we're going to.
And we smell it. We smell it.
Right. We smell it. It does not smell good.
I want to start with this. The first Joker movie, which, again, I understand the movie. It's a piece of art in itself. It won 2 Academy Awards. Joaquin Phoenix won for Best Actor. It won Best Score. It was nominated for 9 altogether. It was made for $70 million and made over $1 billion. So it was a no-brainer that the people at Warner Brothers want a sequel to this. Like, that's the whole thing. But in my mind, was the first movie a Joker movie? No, because it was a Joker movie in name only. So I was like, I'm not so sure I want a sequel. And then they said it's going to be a musical. And then they said Lady Gaga is going to be it. I'm like, what are they doing? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And the movie comes out. And now, because you've got Lady Gaga in it, you've done more production, it's now a $200 million budget. And like, we got to get into all this. So let me just, okay. So, right. So there's an article I included that there are people walking out of this movie. right? Like all over the place, people are reporting this, that the beginning half of this movie is very heavy musical. Like it's musical throughout, but there's a lot of music stuff, and people are being turned off by that, and they're getting up and they're walking out. And one of the issues that I heard, I don't know how true this is because he played Johnny Cash and I haven't seen it, is that Joaquin Phoenix doesn't sound good singing, and he's singing in the movie. And I kind of said to the person who said, "Oh, well, didn't he play Johnny Cash?" I'm like, "But did he actually sing the Johnny Cash songs, or were they recordings of Johnny Cash that he was lip syncing over?" Like, I don't know. So maybe he
Or did they
really-
have voice coaches and everything like they've done in other movies? You know,
right? And then this, they were just like, "No, go ahead and do your thing." And I don't know. I didn't see it. But one of the things I pointed out is this is a musical, and Lady Gaga's in it. And in none of the advertising for this has there been a video of any of the songs that are in this movie. And usually they do that with musicals. They at least, whatever the main song of the movie is, they put that up out there for people to see, to promote and get people excited about the movie. They didn't do that. So I have to imagine the music is really bad in this movie. Like, let's put that out on Front Street.
Yeah, that is actually very telling because, like you're right. Any kind of movie like this, I keep thinking of Frozen, right? Like there's a big musical number on that. It's going to be on the radio. It's going to be on top 40 radio. We're going to have a YouTube video of it, something. And for a musical and for nothing like that to come out, like you can't even hear the music like on the trailers and shit very much.
No.
So, like, yeah, you're right. That's to be a musical and for that not to happen. But you're also right. It's a no-brainer because as an analyst, if I look and I say, okay, well, this movie franchise, it made 1 billion. So if we lose 75% of our audience on the sequel, we're still going to make over 200 million, and it costs 55 million to make. So, like, they can still make they're still going to make beans, but I think they lost more than 75% of the audience.
So
that's the miscalculation that's going to fuck them.
Well,
so go ahead, John.
Okay. So here's a lot of things that I've heard about the movie. First,
Okay, wait. We're going to get to all that. Let me do the numbers real quick because I think this is important as well. All right.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yep.
so $200 million budget. Hold on, I have it on my phone. $200 million budget, but opening weekend, as of this recording, is only made 120 million. So they haven't made their budget back yet. Right? That's very telling. That's, I think, a very important factor. The other is the numbers, right? The reviews. Rotten Tomatoes, 33% critic score, 30% audience score.
Yeah, when do you ever see that aligned like that?
Yeah, when is that aligned? When was the last time that aligned? It's not good.
Hassan said it made 112 million opening weekend, but that's got to be combined, not just domestic, right?
Well, it's 100. I got 120 million off Box Office Mojo. Are you talking, Hassan? Are you talking the first one or the second one? And
yeah, worldwide 121, right? Okay.
I did pull a audience poll, and I asked a very simple question: did you see Joker 2? I'm not going to bother trying to say the French. And
Folie
did you like it?
Folie Dukes.
And the options are:
Oh,
I didn't see it. I saw it was good. I saw it was okay. I saw it was terrible. Well, I saw it was okay, got 2.6% of the vote. I saw it was good, got 10.5%. I saw it was terrible, got 31.6% of the vote, and the majority, 55.3% of our audience, didn't see it. Like, because they're hearing these reviews and people are avoiding this movie like the plague. It's that simple. And it's funny too, because then Todd Phillips came out and said, I'm done with DC. I'm not going to direct any DC movies. No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, really.
This movie's going to fail terribly. They're not going to want you back.
Well, it's not entirely his fault because again, we were just talking about how Hollywood is bereft of any new ideas and everything. They saw how much the first one made, and they said, "Let's make a sequel."
But I think, and this is we're going to get into this, but you can tell me the things you've heard, but I think because it was made for $70 million and made $1 billion, Warner Brothers said, "Todd, do whatever you want," and that's why we got the movie we got. This is not a studio interference. This is Todd Phillips with some kind of weird vision that no one else gets.
It's either he gave us a really bad movie because he didn't want to do. I've heard that it just nobody was really interested in making this project except the studio. Because that's
the conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory, hence the episode title. He made a bad movie on purpose.
Right. Yes. Which goes towards the ending, which we haven't mentioned yet. But
all right. So what were some of the?
Why would you do that though? Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah. Why? I don't know. That's a good question. That is a really good question.
Well, all right, fine. I will say what I've heard. Todd Phillips didn't want the Joker movie to be a comic book movie, but comic book fans ended up loving the movie. So he made this as an FU to the people who loved the first movie, because they were like, "You didn't get the point of the movie. You don't understand what this really is. So fuck you." And here's my sequel. Okay, spoiler, you're gonna kill off your main character, Joker, at the end of the movie, and him actually say in the movie, "I'm not Joker, that's just a persona." That's exactly what you're doing. You're saying these two movies don't matter, fuck you, I'm out.
Go ahead, and we can put up Kassan's thing.
Well, we still got a garbage movie, Kassan, so I don't know how.
So Kassan says, "I heard the opposite. The studio wanted it. Joaquin slowed down production to rewrite.
Slowed down.
Yeah, slowed down the production to rewrite the garbage script. And here's the thing. There are so many rumors floating around about this. That's also a sign that this thing was a shit show behind the scenes.
Phoenix famously does not do sequels. So that's the other thing. Why did he do this movie? Why would you win an Oscar and then do a sequel that invalidates the first movie?
Yeah, I'm starting to think that you're absolutely right, David. This really was like a big fuck you, because to me, the greatest sin of this, and spoiler, I can't spoil the movie I didn't even see. So you mentioned the Joker dies.
Yes.
Do you care if I mention how he dies, or at least how I understand he dies?
Go right ahead. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So he's in prison, and he's got a cellmate, and the cellmate asks him, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?" And he says, "Yeah." And so the cellmate then stabs him, kills him.
Yes.
And then that cellmate gives himself what they refer to as a Glasgow smile, like Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yep.
So if they trying to say that this Joker is the inspiration for
Heath Ledger's,
Christopher Nolan's Joker, that's blasphemous. If that, that's very blasphemous to me. That's like a big fuck you. Fuck that movie. Fuck that character. Yeah, I think you're right, man. This guy's on something. In the studios, just were completely unaware of it. He's like, "You believe these motherfuckers are going to give me another 100 million?"
But it also it begs the question: executives had to have watched it, and they went, "Yeah, this is good." Like I feel like
because
they
they're
went.
out of touch.
I
that's
feel
all
like
I
they
can-
went. The first one made $1 billion. People are just gonna go see this based on that period.
Oh, look, we got Lady Gaga too. So look at that.
Yeah.
All people like Harley Quinn.
Hey, they
It's
released
gotta-
Les Miserables, and look at the singing in that. I
And-
mean, like, it's just the studio execs have no idea what they're looking at.
She's
half
not.
the time for
She's not
too
Harley
much
Quinzel
cocaine.
in it. She's not Harley Quinzel. I can't remember her character's name, but it's like, and that's one of the things in the movie too, right? Like they have this relationship because she's in love with the Joker persona, and that's when he like goes, "Oh, I'm not the Joker. That's just a character I'm playing, basically." And she's like, that's when she leaves him, and it's like, well, like,
which is
yeah, that's
just fucking stupid. Just
yeah.
if it was going to be this like desperate love story, right? But it's not even that.
But she was leading him along the whole time. Like, the whole point of the Joker Harley relationship is an abusive relationship. Joker broke Harley Quinn, who was a doctor,
Right,
a psychologist, and then basically, is just abuses her the whole time. This was like the opposite. She was abusing him. She was leading him along. It was, I don't know. It's just, yeah.
Seed Art says Falling Down by Michael Douglas is a better movie than Joker. Yeah, I love Falling Down.
Yeah, Falling Down was good, and the Joker was good too. The first movie was surprisingly inventive and interesting, and I liked that movie. But the second one, like we said, it seems like nobody wanted it except some highfalutin execs, and it got made.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing. Like to make this movie as a sequel to the first movie that people loved, and to have the main character go, "Well, I'm not the Joker," and then get killed. It's like, why? In fact, it's funny. I'll tell you a story. My girlfriend was at work, and one of her coworkers said that she was thinking about going to see the movie, but that her boyfriend didn't want to see it. And my girlfriend said, "Well, go see the movie. Like, why do you have to? Like, you don't have to go with him. Just go by yourself if you want, or go, or take a friend or whatever." And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. He's saying there's some bad things about it." So she ends up looking into it. And my girlfriend looked into it too, and she found an article that explained the end of the movie, and right away texted me and said, "There's no fucking way I'm going to go see Joker 2, and I'm not going to see the first one either now because this is ridiculous. Why
And
would
that's
you
sad.
do this?" Yeah,
That's sad because the first one is definitely worth a good watch. Okay. Again, this is one thing we're not going to agree on, but that's fine because everybody has their different tastes. I thought it was inventive. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was, I mean, it's still a takeoff on what was the original movie that it? Oh God, my mind just blanked. The comic, the sad comic movie. You know what I'm talking about, right?
sad comic movie. You mean
Everybody
the King of Comedy?
Yeah, King of Comedy, right? So,
which is what the Joker basically was based on,
right? So it's a little bit derivative of that, but I don't know. I thought it was good. A lot of people thought it was good. It's worth a watch. It's kind of a roll of the dice whether you like it or not. But if you do like it, you'll like it a lot. If you don't like it, you will, well, you don't like it. It's not your cup of tea. But the second one seems to be nobody's cup of tea. And in fact, it seems to be a cup of sludge, and nobody really likes it at all.
Thrawn says, "Falling Down is my manifesto." Thrawn, I am now scared of you.
Thrawn, Falling Down is becoming everybody's manifesto with our current economic situation.
Well, okay.
What can I tell you?
But having said all of that, I also kind of feel like if you look at Taxi Driver and King of Comedy, which feel like the inspirations for Joker, they're movies that did not need sequels. Joker was a movie that didn't need a sequel. Like,
True.
it told its story and it was done. And like, I agree that if the studio forced a sequel on him, there's a good reason. There could be a good reason why he's then like, you know what, screw this. Like, fine, I'll make it. But he can always say no, right?
Can always say
Todd Phillips
no.
could always say no. So it kind of begs the question about what's the word I'm looking for? Integrity as a filmmaker. Like, he could have just said, you know what? No, I said everything I wanted to say in Joker. Which then leads me back to the theory of like, he feels like people didn't get the message of the first one, so he stuck his middle finger up to all of those people to say, okay, nope, it's just a persona. People shouldn't idolize him. We're going to kill him off and be done with it.
Or maybe he was sticking his middle finger up to the execs. You know, it's like, okay, so you're gonna give me double the pay to make a movie, and if I don't do it, then you'll just give it to somebody else who's gonna ruin it anyway. So how about I just make a really bad movie, just piss everybody off with the ending to show that nothing matters, and then walk away.
Yeah,
because if he had said no, they would have found somebody else to do it. You know?
Yeah, that is true too. Like, you're right. Like, he could have said no. Well, you know what? You're right. You're bringing up a very good point, because that's how studios work. It could have been, make this movie. We own the rights to everything, so we want you to make the sequel. And he said no, and they're like, well, we'll just get someone else to do it. So he's like, okay, fine, but don't interfere with what I'm doing. That is actually, a good point.
So he decided, okay, you're gonna make this movie come hell or high water. Well, I'm not gonna let anybody else ruin it. I'm just going to ruin it myself and make sure that you never make another one.
Yeah.
It's an expensive way to say lose my number.
Yeah, well, but they paid him. They paid him to do that, so
C-Dart is talking about the vigilante from New York City in the 80s that a lot of that stuff was kind of like inspired from Taxi Driver.
Son of Sam, Bernard
Yeah.
Getz, and all that other stuff. But again, that it was more King of Comedy and everything, because the whole point was it was kind of a psychological screwing up of your mind to watch this happen to somebody and somebody to literally go mad in front of you.
Right. And that's the whole thing. It's about a descent into madness, which I do think that was the story of the first one. It was a descent into madness, and then people idolized this character who, as C-Dot points out, like, shot someone on the subway, right? Like, that was taken directly in this movie, and it's in the first one, and people idolized him like they idolized this vigilante in the 80s. I get that, and like, I'm not going to deny that was a big part of the first movie, but then to turn around and do this because people didn't quote unquote get it, it's like, you know what? Take your Academy Awards, take your paycheck from the first one, and just move on.
Let me address this quote by Kassan here.
I'm sorry, I clicked on it.
A question to the panel: what if the movie clears 600 million in the box office, and what does that tell us? And will we see a Joker 3? Well, if it clears 600 million, then all it tells us is that the people that like the Transformers movies are more flexible than we thought. And yeah, we'll probably see a Joker 3 in that case, and it'll be sad.
That is a brilliant observation. That is such a fucking brilliant observation. I'm sorry, Don.
How dare you?
I don't include Bumblebee or Transformers 1 in that. But the rest of the movies were not great.
How is that some sort of prompt to throw shade at my Transformers movie?
didn't throw shade. I said it outright in the sunlight.
Right, it's true.
Will this benefit from the Streisand effect? Asks Hassan. Or he says a negative press will pique interest. I don't think so, because Hassan, here's
Because
an
it's a
interesting thing.
musical and no song came out of it. It's shit.
Yeah.
Here's and I'm going to be serious about this. A lot of times, articles like on the Hollywood Reporter or the New York Times or whatever newspaper you follow, they avoid trying to spoil movies at all costs, right? Because like they want you to go. They're going to tell you to go see it. I have read so many articles that spoiled the end of this movie because people writing these articles are pissed off about the movie. They don't want people to see it. I don't think there's no interest to peak. Like people are reading the ending and going like, ugh, I don't want to see it. Like I feel like, nah, this is it. Like I could be wrong. We'll see. We will report the numbers next weekend, but I don't think it's gonna make. I think it's done. I don't think there's people.
All you need to do is go on YouTube, do a search for Joker 2 review, and just look at the thumbnails, and that'll give you an idea.
Yeah, this bitch will be on Max in 2 weeks. Like it's finito.
Done.
Transformers.
Yeah, go ahead,
Transformers a movie, 1986 cartoon is better than Transformers 1. Okay, great, but not to me. Optimus Prime came out alive in Transformers 1 and not 1986.
Transformers 1 was way better than it should have been. I really liked it. And it honors the history, like it's more it's more to the canon now. Like it's all part of the canon, and I think it's a good inclusion. Transformers 1 is well worth watching.
It was fun. I thought it was a fun movie. I don't think people understood. Okay. Yeah, wait. You read Don and I both read that as Transformers, the first Transformers Michael Bay movie. But yeah, he probably meant Transformers 1, the new cartoon, which I won't disagree with that.
Animated movie, not a cartoon.
Right. Versus the two animated movies, I do prefer the 1986 movie. But I do think Transformers 1 was a fun movie, regardless if you dislike Chris Hemsworth or not. I think, I had fun watching it. John, are you dodging your role you've been volunteered for? DM session when? I think he's trying to change the subject.
John, I'm with Kassan. I'd like to play some D&D. It's time to roll another monk. Come on.
Yeah.
See, Dart says, what is the biggest DC Comics book movie flop? Wonder Woman 84, Jonah Hex with Josh Brolin and Megan Fox. That's a good question. I think technically Birds of Prey was bad. Oh my god, DC should stop making movies. Technically, financially, I do think the biggest flop was Justice League, just because it was the most expensive movie they made, and it didn't make anywhere near back its budget in the box office. So, because it had to make over $1 billion just to break even, and it didn't get anywhere near that. So, I do think technically their biggest flop is Justice League, but they have had some stinkers. Forgot about Jonah Hex, actually. And yeah, Wonder Woman 84, but that came out during the pandemic. Right?
Jonah Hex wasn't bad compared to Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84 was stupid. Jonah Hex was at least a good try at a Western,
right? But again,
a DC theme.
I do think you can't count Wonder Woman 84 because it was released on Max during the pandemic.
No, because Kassan's got it. Yeah.
The biggest flop was unreleased Batwoman.
Yeah.
Batwoman.
Or
You
Bat,
mean
yeah,
Batgirl?
Or whatever they. Yeah.
or sure.
You mean Batgirl? Batwoman was the TV show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. You
but
said
no.
or Batgirl, whatever they
Yeah.
called it. Yeah, it was Batgirl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't
I think
released.
he wins.
So, yeah, I mean, because you made no money from it. So, all right, fine, Hassan, you win. Huh. So, long story short, don't go see this movie.
Yeah.
Save your money. It'll be on Max in what are we predicting here? 2 weeks? 3 weeks?
I'm saying 2 weeks it'll be there.
Yeah.
Hassan,
What's
you get
Hassan?
the
What's your
famous.
prize? You get the famous no prize.
Yes.
We all grew up on Marvel Comics. You get the no prize. Sorry, that's how it works. Just the pride of knowing you were right. What is he saying? Dave is a player in our SHS D&D session. Yeah, I would be a paladin. That's without question. That's what I always play as a paladin.
Just remember, if we did do a D&D session while doing the podcast, we'd have to start a lot earlier because, like.
Oh, we would have to break it into like several weeks, I think.
Yeah,
we might have to like pre-record.
We wouldn't
and
do
break
it
up.
live. I'm about to say, yeah, we wouldn't
Yeah.
do it live. No, we have to straight do it on a Saturday night. Have fun with it.
No,
And
and I'm good.
Does a cape help you in D&D?
Yes, it does.
If it's a
Not
cloak
as
of
much as
protection-
the cape in the TV show, The Cape, but
that was bad.
deep
that was
cut
really
there.
bad.
But yeah, it can. I mean, if you're a rogue, you know how many like kunai you can hide in a cape.
Or if it's
Yeah.
an all-weather cloak, and you're stuck outside in the elements,
Or a Harry Potter cloak.
Cloak of invisibility.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
we're
all right.
We're over time, and this is like.
Yeah, it sucks. Don't go
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, really.
Wait for Max. You'll be able to watch for free. That's it. All right. Let's bring this one in for a landing. Let's go around the room. And of course, I'll ask, did you learn anything this week, or do you have any recommendations, or both? And John, you could go first.
My recommendation is if you want to really, I'm going to recommend a book this time because I recently pulled out this book. I reread this once every 5 years or so. David Eddings' The Belgariad and the Malorian. The Belgariad and the Malorian are two sets of 3 books each, and it's probably one of the greatest fantasy fables ever told. It's really enjoyable. The characters are wonderful, and it'll make you laugh and cry. Mostly laugh though. So yeah, I'm suggesting that David Eddings' The Belgariad and the Malorian. If you can find them, which you should be able to. I think they still sell them on Amazon, but they've been published for like 50 years now, and it's still really, really, really good.
Kassan learned that everyone has pent-up D&D urges they don't like to fulfill.
I know it's been a while, but I am all for. I'll DM. Just tell me what edition, and I can brush up. I've got all the books right back there of all the editions.
All right, Don.
Today I learned that John knows a lot more words than me, and so does Kassan. So I learned that.
It's okay. 'Cause he doesn't know how to pronounce most of them.
This is true. This is true.
And what do I recommend? This is off the beaten path, particularly for me. But The Bear is a series on Hulu, and it's kind of interesting. So check it out. It's not anything to do with superheroes or any shit like that. It's about a restaurant guy, but it's kind of interesting. So I recommend you check it out if you like funny drama type shows.
Cool. I learned that The Joker is just a horrible movie. That's it. That's all I learned. That's all I know.
The Joker, Folie Dukes.
Yes, yes.
I love
yes.
that. That's what we're gonna call it from now on. That is perfect.
Dukes. Give it up your Dukes.
Kassan says
Dukes.
Cocaine Bear. You should watch Cocaine Bear. I would second that.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, he's questioning. I said the bear. I think he's questioning, or at least making a joke.
Cocaine Bear ? There was like another movie, independent movie that came out on streaming. It was like Crack Raccoon or something. I saw.
Crack
Wizard watched it.
Let me just answer one more thing. Kassan says David Engs is a gateway drug. Him and Piers Anthony. I would suggest Roger Zelazny as well. Kassan, go back and read his books. I forget the name of the series, but look for Roger Zelazny. He had a really good book series too. So
sounds like John and Kassan need to have their own podcast, literary,
where they play D&D and talk about nerdy books. All right, I will recommend that you go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page. Comic book reviews by our good friend Chris, and so much more. I also recommend, if you've gotten this far on the show and you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Smash that like button, because it really does help with the algorithm and gets our name out there, and we need that, because we love you guys. We want you all to know we exist. Also, if you are so inclined, please head on over to our merch store, link in the description down below. Buy a Superhero Speak t-shirt. I do want to get a Dark Dawn shirt done. I'll try to work on that this week. I am busy getting ready for New York Comic Con, so we'll see. But yeah, we need a Darth Dawn. Like that's a must. That is an absolute must. I am serious. I will recommend Illustrals if you are into trading card games and you haven't tried this game yet. Go to their website. Just search Illustrals. Go to their main website, because it's the only place right now where you can easily buy it. They have 3 or 4 pre-built structured decks that you can buy. I think they're $20 a piece, something like that. So it's not bad. It comes with the deck plus 3 booster packs and then a 20-sided die, because that's what they kind of use as your counter for your life points when you're playing the game. So like it's worth $20 to buy one of these decks and find a friend. Buy 2 of them, find a friend to play. I am getting no money from the company that makes these, but my son and I are enjoying the game, so definitely check it out. All right. Well, on that note, boys and girls, that's all I got. So as always, thanks for watching. And don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next week.
Superhero speak.